Hey guys, today I'm going to be installing a pfsense 242 from this USB key to this Dell Optiplex micro PC. Now this only has one port, so we're going to use this Cisco SG200 8 port, and we're going to configure using VLANs to use port 8 as the WAN port, port 1 as the trunking port. The rest of the ports will remain unconfigured but will act like a normal switch. I will also reset the switch just to show you the full configuration that I do. There's nothing that I'm hiding here. Everything I'll show you from step 1 to the final setup, how I do this. It's very simple, but I've seen others try to do a write-up of this or explanation in forums, and it seems to complicate things more than anything else. So I thought I'd do a short video, hopefully, of installing pfsense and configuring a switch to do this. I know a lot of you have single port PCs that you're thinking of using it, but you end up not using it because these instructions seem all complex to do VLAN. So I'm going to do my best to have a short install. Okay, let's start. I'll be inserting the USB key into one of these USB ports. This is version 242, and I'll be booting off it using the boot selection of the PC. So I'm hitting F12 to select the boot devices, and I will be selecting USB storage device. And I'm just going to let it go through the default boot up. So for the first part, we really don't need any network cables connected to this, so that's why I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. We will connect the switch and other cables afterwards. So we're going to accept the defaults. And we're going to install pfsense. Again, defaults. So this installs pretty quick. Within a couple of minutes we'll have a full install on this. And no, we don't need any additional configuration. And we're going to reboot. I'm going to remove the USB key. Okay. And I'm letting the system boot on its own now. I'm not selecting any boot devices at all. Alright, so this is one of the very few cases where you should actually set up VLANs now. So I'm going to select yes. And we're going to select RE0 for our parent interface. And we're going to use VLAN number 10 for our tagging. And we're done with the VLAN part. Now we're going to assign RE0.10 for the WAN interface. And we're going to set up RE0 for the LAN interface. And that's all we need to do in this first part of the configuration. So I'm going to answer yes to this. Alright, we can see now that everything looks the way we want it to. The next thing I'm going to do is plug in my notebook into the PC itself and just go through the setup wizard. Okay, let's type in the default IP address for the router. And if we hit advance here, we can proceed. It's not safe, but we actually know it's safe. So admin, the default username, pfsense for the default password. And we're just going to click through all this. I'm just going to select the Google DNS. And we're going to click here to go to the web configurator. We're going to accept this. So we can see right here that in terms of pfsense is concerned, we have two interfaces. And so I'm able to log in through the LAN port. And I'm going to go under interfaces here and show you exactly what happened during the initial configuration. So if we go under VLANS, this is what it created for us. So we can do the same thing coming here, but doing it through the console interface is a lot easier. Alright, so let's go, and we can see that it detects everything. If we go into System, Advanced, and go into Miscellaneous, we can change the thermal sensors here to Intel, and also select the AES-NI CPU based acceleration. And when we do that, we can see that it shows here that AES-NI is active now. And also we get the temperature reading for the CPU. But let's go ahead and add the thermal sensors here. So that gives us a little more information. We're going to close this down, and let's add the traffic graphs applet. All right, so everything looks good. What I'm going to do next is plug in the switch, but before I do that, I'm going to reset it. So I plugged it in, and right here there's a pinhole. You can put a paper clip and just hold it down, You're going to see all the lights flash, which means it's going to reset to defaults. When it resets, you're going to see all the LEDs flash. There we go. Alright, so that's reset now. I'm going to plug in port 1, which is going to be our trunking port. To the PC port here, and I'm going to plug my notebook into port 2. And what we're going to do is configure port number 8 for our WAN port. So if we go into status and DHCP leases, we just see the IP address of my PC, my notebook, and the IP address of the switch. So we can see my PC right now. Let's do a refresh. And there we go, there's the switch. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open up a separate browser, and we're going to log in with Internet Explorer into the switch. And the default login for this switch is Cisco for the username and Cisco for the password. Now I'm using Internet Explorer because setting the initial password doesn't work with Chrome. Okay, I'm going to switch to Chrome now and see if we can configure everything else through there. Alright, so the first place we're going to go to is the VLAN management. And we're going to add, so let's expand this up a bit. And we're going to use 10. And that's what we've set with the initial pfSense configuration, that we were going to use a VLAN ID number 10. Okay, so that's all we have to do there. We're going to move into the next section here, interface settings. And for number 8, we're going to edit, and we're going to make this our access port. Alright, next we go to port 2 VLAN. And we're going to uncheck this here. And we're going to switch this to 10 here. And we're going to check it. Now we're going to move over to the port VLAN membership. And we're going to modify port 1, hit edit, and we're going to select this, select membership, and move it over, and now hit apply. And now we're going to close this, and we're going to refresh the screen here. And this is what we want. So as long as This is indicated here. Everything is correct. And that's all we need to do on this switch. So what I'm going to do now is hit save to make sure our configuration is saved. And I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to flip back to the pfSense configuration here and go back to the main status screen. And I'm going to plug in our WAN cable now. So you should see this right here change as I'm doing it. So this is our WAN cable, and I'm going to plug it into port number 8. And there we go. You can see that the WAN interface got an IP address. So this shows us that everything is working okay. So I'm going to open up another tab here. And just go to some random tech news site. And we can see that everything is working okay. I'm going to disable the wireless off my my notebook just to make sure that everything is working. And we can see I'm now only connected through the LAN interface. Let's pick something here. And everything is still working. If we go back, we can see that the LAN and the WAN interface are showing us traffic here. So that's it. This is where I'm going to end up this video. I know it's not much, but it's a short intro that shows you how to do this with a VLAN capable switch.